The wind cut through the streets of Chicago like a blade that night, cold enough to make even the toughest souls hurry home. But Daniel had nowhere to go. Wrapped in a worn-out blanket, he sat quietly near a dimly lit bus stop, his belongings packed into a torn backpack. To most people, he was invisible, just another homeless man they passed without a second glance. But Daniel noticed everything. He noticed the nervous young woman pacing near the curb, glancing over her shoulder again and again. He noticed the black sedan parked across the street, engine running, its windows too dark to see inside. And he noticed the way the air felt wrong. The woman checked her phone, her hands shaking. It was past midnight. No buses came this late. Daniel stood up slowly, his joints aching from the cold. He wasn't sure why, but something told him to stay alert. That's when it happened. The sedan door swung open. Two men stepped out, moving quickly toward the woman. She froze, confusion turning into fear. "Hey!" Daniel shouted, his voice rough but loud enough to echo down the empty street. The men paused. Daniel stepped forward, placing himself between them and the woman. His heart pounded, but his eyes stayed steady. "Leave her alone!" One of the men laughed. "Mind your business, old man." Daniel didn't move. The woman took a shaky step back, realizing what was happening. "Please!" she whispered. The men exchanged glances. This wasn't part of their plan, someone interfering. Someone who wasn't supposed to care. Daniel grabbed a metal pipe lying near the curb, gripping it tightly. He wasn't strong, not anymore. But he had something they didn't expect, nothing left to lose. "Go," he said firmly, glancing at the woman. "Run!" She hesitated for a second, then ran. The men cursed and lunged forward. What followed was chaos, shouts, struggle, the clang of metal against pavement. Daniel fought with everything he had, his body screaming in pain. But his mind focused on one thing: buying her time. Finally, the distant sound of sirens pierced the night. The men fled, disappearing into the darkness just as police cars pulled up. Daniel collapsed onto the cold ground. When he woke up, he was in a hospital bed. Bright lights, clean sheets, a place he hadn't seen in years. A nurse smiled gently. "You're lucky to be alive." A few hours later, the woman walked in. Her name was Emily. Tears filled her eyes as she approached him. "You saved my life," she said, her voice trembling. Daniel looked away. "I just did what anyone should." But she shook her head. "No, not anyone." "You did." Emily had already told the police everything. The men were caught. And her family, wealthy, influential, wanted to help Daniel. They offered him a place to stay, a job, a second chance. Daniel hesitated at first. Life had taught him not to trust easily. But for the first time in years, someone saw him, not as a homeless man, but as a hero. And sometimes that's all it takes to change a life.